whether a film festival in Bombay has a special significance.
I would say the film festival in Bombay has a very special significance, particularly if you remember that Dada Saheb Phalke made the first Indian film in Bombay, or say Maharashtra, and this also happens to be the 100th year of world cinema. So it makes for a very special kind of an occasion. Apart from that, the festival is being held in Bombay after 10 years. The last festival was in '84. So I think it's a very special occasion considering all these elements put together. And you can see it, there's a general sense of excitement and expectation in the film folk here.
Are you also excited about it?
Well, I'm looking forward to it because my own film is in the Indian panorama.
Do you think you'll get a chance to see a lot of films? Will you have the time to see a lot of films?
Well, I think that's what the international film festivals are all about, because you see, they're like, you have industrial exhibition, you have a book fairs, you have music festivals. Similarly, a film festival gives us an opportunity to have a look at the world cinema, the contemporary world cinema of the year. You can have retrospectives, you can have documentaries. So it's the one occasion where in a concentrated manner you have a contact with whatever is happening around the world. It's extremely inspiring and stimulating, particularly for the filmmakers. So to that extent, I would say that I'm really looking forward to this festival.
Would you agree that good Indian cinema owes a lot of debt to the film festivals that have been held so far in the country?
There's no doubt about the fact that the international festivals have helped immensely in bringing the contemporary Indian cinema to the notice of the world, and that has resulted not only just recognition but also in terms of a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm that it has created within the country. Because in our own country, unfortunately, the appreciation of the kind of cinema which has emerged, particularly after the independence, what we call the parallel cinema, has not found as much appreciation as it has found abroad. There have been very important filmmakers here. They have made very fine films over here, but in terms of acceptance, it has perhaps not been as much. And if the film festivals which have recognized Indian films abroad had not done so, I think the enthusiasm here would have really suffered. So I would say that the international festivals have really helped the new Indian cinema. Look at the section like the Indian Panorama section, which is supposed to present the 21 best films, best examples of various genres of film made in this country this year. And that gives an opportunity to delegates from various other festivals all over the world to come and select films for their festivals. And that is how the films get recognized, and it is a source of tremendous inspiration for the filmmaker.
Should Indian Film Festival be a competitive one?
Now that is a issue that needs certain amount of careful consideration, because it involves a lot of outlay of money, because then you have to invite various delegates whose films are participating. You have to give some prizes, so it involves huge amount of money. So I would say it all depends upon whether we have the resources or not, and that's for the government to tell us, because we had the festival earlier, which was a competitive festival, and every alternate year we had a festival which was not competitive festival, and the competition was given up only because it was found that it was very expensive.
So in the coming festival, what do you look forward to? What would you like to see if given a choice?
Well, I would like to see lots and lots of films that have come from various parts of the world. I find that kind of experience extremely invigorating and very stimulating, and of course looking forward to meet some interesting people from various other countries, filmmakers. The other aspect of a film festival like this, apart from the creative one as we have mentioned, is the commercial aspect. It also provides an opportunity for certain films to be sold, particularly in the non-traditional markets. And unfortunately, we have not been able to develop the market of the kind that Cannes or some other festivals have, because that is an important aspect of a festival also. And I think this is one area where we have not succeeded very well, the marketing section or the marketing of our own films in general.
Is it too late now?
It's never too late. In fact, this is the time when we should be very aggressive about projecting our cinema without any sense of inferiority, which has been, our bane all the time. We always consider our films inferior to, films particularly from the West and Europe. We have very little pride in our own product. I think we should give up that kind of attitude and project our films in a very determined manner. I'm sure there's an audience which would like to see, and therefore there's a market for it.
One last question, that's about NFDC. How do you think its role has changed over the years?
I think NFDC's role, more than at any other time, now is very important, that should be reviewed. I think they have done extremely well as far as the production of films is concerned. But when it comes to the marketing of the films, unfortunately, I would say it has not been very successful. If you ask them, they will give you all kinds of figures, and which are also true. But when you look at it in a broader perspective, it needs a little more dynamism, a little more determination, and a little more perhaps availability of resources to market your films. I think productions of films is only half the story. The film should be brought to the audience, even not only in our country but even abroad, because for the kind of films that NFDC supports, the market in abroad is fairly good, and they can recover their investment. They can become viable if a major part of the investment can also be recovered from markets abroad. The other thing is that they should encourage, I think, the co-productions, which as it is they are doing. But I think in that area also they can be much more dynamic than they are at the moment.
But there is a perception also that they're becoming grossly commercial, like going.
Well, there is one aspect of that also, and there has been a criticism on that basis, and to an extent, I think it is true also. But given the overall perspective, I think that NFDC is still the best organization we have in this country for any new filmmaker or a filmmaker with an unusual subject which will not find support in the traditional financial circuits of the film industry to make a film.
Thank you.
Thank you.